morning, students. I wish to welcome you to our class for today. My name is Dr. Angela Abba. I'll be your facilitator for the course, Principles of Family Living, PED 120. Of course, you know that we've been doing this class for some time now. And today is our third day because we started afresh. And remember, we also do this course on Tuesdays, 10 to 11 a.m. And of course, on Saturdays, 9 to 10 a.m. 9 to 10 a.m. I wish to welcome you again. Our topic for today is feeding the family. Feeding the family. In feeding the family, we are going to concentrate on three things. Feeding the family, we are concentrating on three things. And this is the basic concept in food and nutrition. Basic concept in food and nutrition. We shall also be looking at the nutrients in food and their functions and major sources of our nutrients. The major sources of our food. We shall also be looking at the food and classifications. Food and classifications. And of course, there are some intended behavior outcome we want our students to learn by the end of this class. And some of those outcomes will be that the students will be able to define some basic terms relating to nutrition. Define some basic terms relating to nutrition. Our students already know the meaning of food, even though we shall be defining them a little. And we expect that our students should be able to define the word food. What is food? By the end of the lesson, we're expecting that the students should be able to list the nutrients in food, their functions, and the major sources. We're expecting that the students should be able to also classify foods into their various groups. And of course, you know that this class is for 100 level students. 100 level students. You have the course material, which is a 4-module material, 4-module course made of 13 units. 13 units. So we're going to look at food. And we have said that food is anything that mixes well with the body chemicals, that is the enzymes, to serve the need of the body. Food is anything that mixes well with the body chemicals, that is the enzymes, to serve the need of the body. And looking at nutrients, nutrient is anything. Nutrient is anything. I'd like to share the screen. Nutrient is anything that nurtures the body, facilitates the body and the good, And remember that any food, for something to be food, it must contain one or the other nutrient. It must contain one nutrient. It's saying that nutrients are those things that nurture the body and facilitate the body growth and must contain one nutrient. Must contain one nutrient for it to be called a nutrient. We have the next one we're looking at is digestion. We're talking about the basic concepts. Digestion is that process that changes food into simpler forms to be absorbed by the body. Digestion is the process that changes food into simpler forms to be able to absorb by the body. When you eat your food, something helps to change it to simpler forms so that the body can absorb it well, and that is called digestion. Another concept we would like to define is the enzymes. And we say that enzymes are substances in the body that speed up the breaking down of food. The enzymes are the substances in the body that speed up the breaking down of food. The food we are eating, there are things that break them down. That is called the enzymes that help in breaking down the food. Cell, the next concept is cell. And we're saying that cell is the smallest unit of a living organism or plant or animal. Cell is the smallest part of any living organism, a plant or an animal. The last concept we are going to look at is metabolism. Metabolism. And metabolism is said to be that chemical that changes in living cells through which energy is provided. Metabolism is that chemical that changes in living cells through which energy is provided. Now we are done with the concepts in food and nutrition. We're going to look at the nutrients in food, their functions and their groups. And of course, remember that this course is PED 120, Principles of Family Living. We're talking about the feeding, how to feed the family, and why it is necessary to know the things each family needs, and how to provide the basic items needed in terms of food. We want to look at the major classes of nutrients. Nutrients in food. There are 6 major classes of nutrients. 6 major classes of nutrients. There are 6 major classes of nutrients. I want to share the screen so that you can see them. If you're looking at your screen, you can see that we have the protein. We have the protein. We have the carbohydrates. We have fats. The 4th one is the vitamins. The 5th one is the mineral. And of course, the water. Major classes of nutrients are the protein, the carbohydrates, the fats, the vitamins, and the mineral and the minerals. The major classes of nutrients. Major classes of nutrients. I hope my students, I can see some of the students in here, and I still welcome you for joining the class. We're talking about the 6 major classes of nutrients, which you can see on the screen. They are the protein, carbohydrates, the fats, the vitamins, the mineral, and water. And then I wish to ask you that after this class, I would like the students to go and research more about the protein, classes of nutrients, and what are the food sources of calcium. Find out for me what are the food sources of calcium, fats, protein, and water. Protein and water. And I will also want you to look at the food group systems so that you can, when you find them out, you share on your discussion group so that you can share among yourselves. I want you to research more, find out more before our next class. What are the classes of nutrients in food? List for me the food sources of calcium. Food sources of calcium. The food sources of calcium. The food sources of calcium. Food sources of calcium. Some fats, proteins, and of course, water. I'd like you to share that, discuss, find out more about them. Now we're going to look at food group system. The food group system. Food group system. The food group system is classified into 3. Classified into 3. I'm trying to share the screen so that you can see. I'm sharing my system. Okay. We have the food groups. The food group system is classified into 3. We have bodybuilding food, the bodybuilding food, the bodybuilding food, bodybuilding food, the bodybuilding food is otherwise known as the protein-rich foods. They are the protein-rich food. We have the protective food, the protective foods. This protective food they are the food rich in vitamins and minerals. We also have the fuel foods. These are the group of food that contributes to the energy. They are the food contributing energy. Food contributing energy. There are several types of food eaten all over the world. There are several types of food eaten all over the world. These are placed in one group or the other, ranging from the 3 simple group system to 14 group system. These ones, I would like you to read some of them up, because we are not going to dwell in, we're not going to treat all of them now. We have the 3 group system, and the 4, the 5, the 6, until you get to 14 group system, depending on the country. In Nigeria particularly, we have the 14 group system, which Nigerians are majorly known for. And this 14 group system, well, they call them the African group of food. They are the African group of food. I hope you are taking your notes as we are doing this. Eventually, you're going to look at your materials from page 27 to like page 32, as where you see the group systems, and read up the rest. Group 3, group 4, group 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, 12, even 14. But we are dwelling on group, simple group system, group 3, and of course, group 14. Group 14. The 14 group system is built majorly for the African food groups because it's called the tropical. It's called the tropical system. And it is based on the available food locally. Based on the available food, these are the available food we can find in African environment. The African environment, we have a lot of them. You can find the curry, you have the beans, you have the akidi in some area, you have dawa, you have acha, you have the acha, you have so many of them. And Nigerians dwell on this because what you grow in your own local area is what you enjoy. And these are what the Africans enjoy, the 14 group system. They are available in your environment. I also want you to find out the type of food that is mostly available in your own area, in your own environment. They meet the needs of their people. No standard group system is found in Nigeria because Nigerians like to mix up their food. Talking about this food system, I have said that you have to go back to your materials and look up to from page 27 to page 34. We have so many of them outlined there so that you can also see how other countries see their the kind of food grown in some other environments, how they make use of them, the ones they eat, the ones that nourishes the body, and they check also their difference between that grown in some areas in Nigeria, in your own environment, and how you match them to meet up your need. Nutrients, remember, are the chemical building blocks of the food. We say that nutrients are the chemical building blocks of food. And nothing is called food unless it contains one nutrient. No food, nothing. Any food you get that doesn't have any nutrient in it, doesn't contain any nutrient, means that that thing is not food. That's why when you eat a lot of junks, buy this and buy that and eat, you may be harming the body instead of nourishing the body. So what you do is you eat healthy. Eating variety of food in the family is acknowledged. Nigerians plan according to the directive. Whenever you plan food for the family, you must look for the variety. Eating variety of food provides enough nutrients for healthy living. You have to plan adequately for the family, plan good diet for the family. That is why the concept of food is learned and taught. We wish to welcome you. Remember that we are talking about principles of family. Also, feeding the family. Feeding the family. Please lower your mouth, use your microphone so that you can understand us very well. Mute your mic. You have to mute your mic. Mute your mic so that you don't disturb the rest of us. Keep your mic on mute. We're talking about the concept of food and nutrition. Concept of food and nutrition in the family. Remember that we discussed first about the concepts in the food and nutrition. The concepts of food and nutrition. Basic concepts in food and nutrition. We talked about nutrition in food, their functions and the major sources. We also looked at the food and classification, the 3 classifications of food. And remember, our intended learning outcome that by the end of this lesson, the students will be able to define some basic terms relating to nutrition. You'll be able to list the nutrients in food, their functions. You list the nutrients in the food, their functions, and the major sources. Students should also be able to classify foods into groups. Classify the foods into groups. And remember the 6 major classes of nutrients, which I have talked about. The 6 major classes of nutrients, and these are the protein, the carbohydrates, the fats, the vitamins, the minerals, and of course, water. These are the major classes of food. And remember that food is anything eaten that mixes well with the body chemicals. That is the enzymes in the body to serve the need of the body. Food is anything. We define it as anything eaten. Anything you eat that mixes well with the body chemical that serves the need of the body. We have said that nutrients, they are those things that nurtures the body and facilitates body growth. They are food that must contain, we say that our food must contain 1 nutrient at least. Anything you eat that doesn't contain at least 1 nutrient is not food. They're just junk that destroys the body. I've said that digestion is that process that changes food into simpler forms to be absorbed by the body. The other process that changes food into simpler forms to be absorbed by the body. Digestion, that process that changes food into simpler forms in order that the body may absorb them. Now, the enzymes are those substances in the body that speeds up the breaking down of food. Enzymes, they are those substances in the body that speeds up the breaking down of food. The concepts we have talked about before. Also, remember that the cell, we describe it as the smallest unit of a living organism, plant or animal. The smallest unit of a living organism, plant or animal, that is cell. And metabolism is the chemical changes in living cells through which energy is provided. They are the chemical changes. All these things we are talking about, remember, you can find them in your eLearn site because I have already uploaded them. Try and access them to your course. Try and access them. So today, remember our basic topic, concepts in food and nutrition, as we are talking about feeding the family. Feeding the family. Nutrients are chemical building blocks of the food. They are chemical building blocks of food. Remember that nothing is called food unless it contains one nutrient or the other. Nigerians like to mix food. In the morning, they eat this. When you want to eat your breakfast, some people will have egg there. You put some people will take a little groundnut, you take a little, maybe margarine, butter. Maybe at noon, someone will take this and that. And as you mix this food, they keep the family, they keep the body healthy. And remember the assignment I've given you right after this class, at your spare time, try and go back to your model and list the 6 major classes of nutrients for me. When you list these 6 measures of nutrients, I also want you to find out the food sources of calcium, fats, protein, and water. Then I want you to discuss them, put them in your discussion forum. I want you to have a discussion with your other colleagues, with the other mates. Post them to your site so that you can discuss it in your site with your other colleagues. I know that you've been enjoying the lesson. And remember, after this lesson, tomorrow you can plan a meal for your family. Let's see what it will look like. And remember that we said that there are several thousands of food eating all over the world. And these are placed in one group or the other, ranging from the 3 simple group to 14 group, depending on the country. But majorly, Nigerians like the 14 group system because these are, they like to match the food that go in their environment. They like to match the food that go in their environment and in the nourishes them, it nourishes them. So I'd like you to also look at your model, go to page 27, from page 27 to that page 32. You will see other group classes of food, and then read up those ones. Read up those ones. For today, I think we are good to go. I wish to welcome you once again. And thank you very much for attending the class. Remember our class next Saturday by 5 to 6 p.m. Bye for now. Bye for now. See you.